Hello there! Welcome to Chapter 1 of the Jedi Temple Guard series. In this series, we'll be taking a close look at the Jedi Temple Guards. In this chapter, we'll be learning who exactly the Jedi Temple Guard were. Later on, we'll look into the Jedi Temple Guard's skills, capabilities, their weapons and equipment, and their roles outside of the Jedi Temple. Now let's get started. The Jedi Temple Guardians, more commonly known as the Jedi Temple Guards, would act as security units patrolling the halls of the Jedi Temple and dealing with any conflicts that should arise. These Jedi were selected for the position by the Jedi Battlemaster, who also served as the Jedi Temple's head of security. The Jedi Temple Guards were first introduced within the Star Wars Clone Wars TV series in the episode Sabotage. From there, they've been seen in a few other episodes, as well as seen in the background of some Star Wars comics. But they got a bit more attention in the Star Wars Rebels TV series. Jedi Temple Guards were equipped with a set of robes that served both a functional and a ceremonial purpose. Along with this, they are also equipped with a variant of the lightsaber pike. Unlike the standard version of the polearm, this unique pike was more akin to a saber staff in that it has two blades on each side. However, it features a longer and thicker hilt than your run-of-the-mill saber staff. During the time of the Clone Wars, Jedi Battlemaster Sin Dralik would have been the one to choose which Jedi would take on the role of Temple Guards. As a chief lightsaber instructor of the Jedi, it is likely that Sin Dralik would have chosen those with exceptional skill in lightsaber combat to become Temple Guards. Outside of standing guard, they aren't seen doing too much within the Clone Wars TV series, but it's a safe assumption that they perform duties most security units would. This would be patrolling the Jedi Temple, acting as first responders to hostile situations, running security checks, or escorting important individuals. In the Star Wars Forces of Destiny comic, Padme and Ahsoka, a Jedi Temple Guard can be seen behind Senator Padme Amidala. This proves one of my previous points. Should the Jedi Temple receive a guest such as a Galactic Senator, the Chancellor, or another esteemed guest, it's safe to assume that a Jedi Temple Guard will be accompanying them. A trait that appears unique to the Temple Guards within the current canon is that unlike most Jedi who have a green or blue lightsaber, the Jedi Temple Guards possess yellow lightsabers. As the Temple Guards were developed before Disney had influence over the Star Wars story development, we can assume that they could have potentially been a form of Jedi Sentinel, one of the three Jedi Schools of Thought, alongside Jedi Guardians and Jedi Consulars. For those of you unfamiliar with the three Jedi Schools of Thought, a Jedi chose one of three schools to follow. They could focus more on the lightsaber combat and martial prowess to act as a defender of the Republic. This school of thought was the path of the Jedi Guardian. Or, they could have chosen to favor studies of the Force and have their primary occupation be one of peace and knowledge. These Jedi were known as Jedi Consulars. They would end up being ambassadors, peacekeepers, librarians, or other roles that were rather peaceful and where combat was not really preferred or needed. Then there were those who saw a balance between knowledge of the Force and lightsaber combat. These were the Jedi Sentinels. What makes Sentinels more unique is that they would often learn more practical skills such as tracking skills, technological skills, medicinal skills, or whatever skills they feel they could make use of. The Jedi Sentinels would watch over a planet or a certain sector of a planet and watch out for any dark side activity or work with local law enforcement to help maintain the peace. The Jedi Sentinels would only draw the lightsabers if they absolutely needed to. In Jedi tradition, the Jedi Guardians would wield blue lightsabers, the Jedi Consulars would use green lightsabers, and the Jedi Sentinels would use yellow lightsabers. At least, that's how it was during the time of the Old Republic. During the Clone Wars era, this tradition fell out of practice. Due to the fact that Jedi Sentinels would often seek out the Sith and those influenced by the dark side, they would have fallen out of practice due to the Jedi believing that the Sith were wiped out 1,000 years prior to the events in the Clone Wars. It's more likely that many of the Temple Guards during the Clone Wars era were Jedi Guardians, as they would have chosen a more combat-centric path which would aid in their ability to deal with any conflict that gets physical. So this should quell any thoughts you may have about the Jedi Temple Guards being Sentinels, at least for now. So now you're probably wondering why Jedi Temple Guards have yellow lightsabers. Well, it's because the weapons used by the Temple Guards were given to them to use while on duty. Their personal lightsabers would have most likely been kept in storage while they were on duty. They're essentially hand-me-down lightsabers for use within the Jedi Temple security force. One can only ponder how old these lightsabers are. Until Disney portrays the creation of a yellow Kyber crystal, we can only speculate on how they achieved this color. Unfortunately, Jedi Sentinels are not part of the current canon and are now in the Legends continuity. That will be all for this chapter. Join me for the next chapter where we'll be looking into the capabilities of the Jedi Temple Guards. These will be things such as their skills, force abilities, what they can do in combat, and other neat facts. Goodbye, and may the Force be with you.